today on CityCast Pittsburgh, a bonus episode. If you're daydreaming about a summer getaway but maybe need a little extra motivation to go ahead and book a flight, you are in luck. Producer Sophia Lowe's been searching for the best deals out of Pittsburgh all this week, and she's joining me for a special extra episode to share some of the cheapest trips that you can score if you act very fast. It's still Wednesday, June 18th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. Sophia, I have loved it all week long. You pop it in every once in a while with like, oh my gosh, this is so cheap. But like you never tell us details because you want to wait and have us react on microphone.
Yeah.
I mean, do you, like, we talked about this a little bit in like our main feed, but like, do you travel like enough? Like, how often are you on these websites?
I'm not on them too much.
Because you've joked about being like a travel princess where like your partner plans a lot of things and then you just are along for the ride.
Yeah, he gets really excited and he loves to plan in advance, and I'm a bit of a last minute planner, so I'm not usually booking the flights, but you know, I do know how to get a cheap one. For the past 3 years, I've done an international trip once per year, and then domestically, I'll usually fly maybe 3 or 4 times a year to visit friends and family. So that I'm like trying to get a cheap flight, but if I'm crashing at someone's place and not paying for a hotel, I could spend a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're definitely still in that phase. And I went through this too, where like you maximize your travel. And I respect it so much. Like you will talk about like getting in from the red eye at like 1 a.m. and then you were at work at 9 a.m.
Yeah, I am. On like sometimes on a couple of trips, like I'll still take my laptop and stuff. One of the perks of working remote.
Honest to God. I mean, one of the things that prompted us like wanting to talk about this is because while I was traveling a few months back, I noticed that PIT has a page on their website now with all of their direct flights listed. So no current prices or days or times, but like the destination cities.
Although that'd be a crazy service. That'd be great. Someone at PIT, please just make like a master list.
That would be incredible. I mean, they do have the thing, like if you click into them, they have like a drop down that tells you what the flight, like what airlines they are.
And how often they do fly.
Yeah, whether they're seasonal, that kind of thing. It's still a little clunky, but I am grateful for the page because it is really fun to just skim through. Like if you kind of step back from the list, I think it is just such a funny way to think about Pittsburgh, like as a community, like assessing who we are as people based on our migratory patterns, like where we like to go to escape to, because none of those options would exist if there weren't demand for them. So these are the places that Pittsburghers like to go to enough that the airport brings them back or renews these contracts again and again.
One of my biggest questions is who's flying to Lancaster? Like, there's up to 2 daily. Who? Why?
I mean, Sophia, I think you mean Lancaster, first of all.
Yeah, I can't say that well. It's fine. I've accepted it.
I mean, there are some like day trip options, right, to Pennsylvania cities, Bradford, Du Bois, Lancaster, and Philly, which I think most of that's got to be like business travel, right? Because like Du Bois is not actually that far of a drive. So if you're willing to fly, you must be doing it for like some kind of regularity. I wonder if there's like some companies that have like contracts or something so that their people can travel between. I don't know.
That's a good point. I have vacation brain on, not work brain. We are not traveling for work. We're running around Pittsburgh.
Truly. And we should say the ones we're going to talk about in this bonus episode, they're not necessarily about being cheap.
I did find some cheap ones, though.
That's true. We're going to do a little bit of both. But as a rule, directs, nonstops, like they're nicer, they're chiller experiences. There is a lot of business travel options here. So some of those also come with those same rules about like no baggage or whatever. But at least you don't have to hustle to a gate or worry about a connection necessarily. But yes, we are still going to call out the cheap options as we see them.
And we will start international. So we mentioned Cancun in the episode in our main feed, but we've also got a few other direct flights internationally. So that includes London, 2 in Canada, Montreal and Toronto, and then Dominican Republic, Punta Cana, and Iceland.
Reykjavik. It's Reykjavik.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So Iceland's the newest direct flight. It's also a seasonal one.
But you get to go Iceland Air, which I think is really nice. Like I went to Iceland on Spirit Airlines. Do not recommend.
That sounds really terrible. I was talking in our main episode about how I don't mind budget airlines. Like I'm seeing my partner's parents in South Carolina, $75 round trip. But, you know, that's like 2 hours in the air. I would not go internationally on a budget airline.
Yeah, it was a Groupon experience and sort of an accident. That's a story for another day.
Okay. Well, I was actually kind of surprised that we only have 6 international locations that are a direct flight. Like, I wasn't expecting a ton, but like Mexico City, you know, biggest city in North America, or I don't know, like Vancouver, the other side of Canada, I thought we'd have at least a couple more.
I am surprised that we have this many. Like, I know 6 cities is not a lot, but Pittsburgh is like, it's an East Coast city, but not on the coast. So it's really difficult to like, it just adds extra time to fly internationally. There's been all that construction at the terminal. So I don't think it's been like a priority, right? And then, you know, of course, we've talked about this so much on CityCast. We're not a hub for any airlines.
We are
not. So there's like just not a ton of connecting passengers coming in here either. So a lot of our new airport space is going to be built around Pittsburghers flying in and out, which like is kind of nice that like finally this thing is being built for us.
Well, if you want to build for me specifically, Tokyo, get me a direct flight to Tokyo.
A direct flight from Tokyo from Pittsburgh. Like, oh my gosh, Sophia, is that even possible?
I don't really know. I'm not like an expert on flight patterns or anything, but like, I don't know, US Steel, Nippon Steel, can you work something out?
I mean, actually, you make a good point. It's probably possible. I should rephrase. But would it be enjoyable is what I mean.
I mean, at some point, if you're going that far away, you're going to have to take one long flight anyway. I would rather just get on the plane
like,
once
get out
and
stretch
knock out.
in California before I have to do that again.
Okay, well, I will bring it back to, you know, the flights that do actually exist here.
Thank you.
So when I was poking around for cheap flights, I mean, international, it's never really going to be cheap. But I was looking at Iceland. I was really surprised to see that some days are over $1,000 and others are like about $600. And it's not like month to month. It is literally day by day. So if you are willing to shift your trip by just like 1 or 2 days, you could save like $400. I was looking directly at Iceland Air's website. These are round trip prices.
And I think Iceland is like one of the seasonal ones too, right?
Yeah, Iceland is one of the seasonal ones. I also took a spin through some of the seasonal flights that are currently available.
Like domestically.
Yes, within the US. PIT posted on Twitter with this cute little graphic of seasonal flights. They posted in early June, so I'm guessing these are like mostly for the summer. So there's a bunch on there, but like the vacation-y spots I want to point out, the ones that, you know, have beach, include Myrtle Beach, and then Fort Myers, Tampa, San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, there is a shocking number of Florida destinations
so
in this.
Many. I was trying to like keep it varied for like, here are some cool flight deals, and so many of them are just Florida. And it's like, cool.
Yeah, it makes me laugh. Once again, like kind of that like personality test of like who Pittsburgh is. Like you can clearly our priority is getting to Florida as often as possible. PIT's website doesn't, they list it by alphabetically by city name, which was not helpful to me. So
that was really weird to me too.
Yeah, I reorganized this by state and it's even more than I thought. So Destin and Walton Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers, Jacksonville, Key West, Melbourne, Miami, Orlando, another Orlando option, Punta Gorda, Sarasota, and Bradenton. Those are the same ones. St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Tampa, West Palm Beach. That is 14 Florida destinations. I am kind of shook.
More Florida than international destinations.
I think it's like a third Florida. I'm not kidding. It's so many.
Well, if you're looking to fly to Florida, you can get to Jacksonville in July for about $110 round trip. I mean, with that many destinations, I'm sure there are other ones out there, but that's one of the first ones I found.
I mean, if you want to go to Florida, there should be like a service that will just isolate for Pittsburgh to Florida because clearly there are a ton of direct options. For what it's worth, Skyscanner, that search engine that you recommended in our main feed episode, I checked it out and it gave me this like fun fact. Apparently Pittsburghers most flown to destination overall is Orlando, Florida. So like Disney and Universal Studios.
That's kind of sad to me. I hate Orlando. It's just like absolutely terrible in my opinion. Disney World's too expensive. There's too much traffic. You can't walk anywhere. It's too humid. Like if you're going to Florida, go to Miami.
I mean, I hear you on all of that. My one caveat though is like now that I have a kid, I'm starting to like Orlando, and I don't love what that says about like who I am as a person and how I'm aging. And Florida actually I was totally blown away at their commitment to sidewalks. Like their sidewalk game is a million times better than Pittsburgh's. So I will at least give them that. Anyway, so Orlando's the number one destination, and the most traveled month, I'm sure you'll be shocked, is July.
Well, if you don't want to go to Florida, some other cheap flights I found right now, 114-ish for Hartford, Connecticut. This is not really that interesting to me, but this was like the cheapest thing I found besides Florida.
Yeah, I'm a little mad at Skyscanner because the cheapest flight I could find, like it showing from Pittsburgh right now, it said $58 to New York City. So I looked it up because I was like, oh, is it LaGuardia or is it JFK? Incorrect. It is Newark. That is not the same thing. That is not New York.
No, it really isn't. I think I also saw that too and saw it went to Newark and was like, this isn't real. I'm not going to drop this in.
Is Newark out here trying to be New York on a regular basis? Is that like a thing?
I don't think so. But I also don't spend time in Newark besides getting off the plane there.
I mean, getting on and off a plane in Newark right now is also a fraught experience.
Yeah. I specifically will not be flying there for a little bit. But yeah, also I feel like a cheap flight to New York comes with its own caveat, is that everything else in New York is going to be wildly expensive.
Yeah, and I mean, Pittsburgh does offer some other directs. Like just looking at this list, there's Phoenix, Arizona, Denver, Colorado, couple in Georgia, Atlanta, and Savannah. You can fly to both major airports in Chicago. There's New Orleans, Portland, Maine, Baltimore, Boston, Detroit, Minneapolis, St. Louis. We used to have a bunch of Vegas options, but I'm only seeing one right now.
It's because, our casino here is just so nice.
Well, I always thought that was kind of funny that Pittsburghers wanted to go to Vegas so often, but maybe it's the down season. Actually, I bet that's it. I bet our seasonal flight to Vegas is in the winter. That would make more sense.
You're right. Well, we'll check in again in a few months. But, while we're thinking like summer spots, one of the cheapest flights I found was to Myrtle Beach on Allegiant. So you can go there mid-July, July 14th to the 21st for $84. If you want to go even sooner at the end of June, it's like $112 round trip. And, a good amount of these seasonal flights are also on budget airlines like Frontier, Breeze, or, Allegiant.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot from the Carolinas. You can do Providence, Rhode Island, which is really nice this time of year. There's a direct flight to Nashville and Salt Lake, Virginia Beach, another favorite for Pittsburghers, and then Seattle and DC too. So there's a lot actually on this list.
And, Megan, speaking of the Carolinas, I'm actually flying there in a couple months on Breeze, budget airline. My flight was $75 round trip. Right now, when I was poking on their website, it is $73 one way. So rip, it's a little more expensive now. But Breeze has a whole section of their website for flights under $50. So the $50 would be one way. And scrolling through, there are none from Pittsburgh right now. But there's a Lancaster.
Lancaster. We're going to get you there.
There's one from there to Orlando, one-way fare that starts at $49. So, it might also be worth poking around budget airlines if you want to, tag on a second location on an already existing trip.
So what do you think, Sophia? Looking at this list, just Pittsburgh's direct flight list, which one would you love for CityCast to sponsor you on if we could just take a trip right now?
Well, my true aspirational pick, if CityCast wanted to pay for my flight, would be Tokyo.
Fair.
Not a direct flight, but right now it's pretty cheap. You can get like a $660 round trip. But, out of these, honestly, why not go to Myrtle Beach? I've actually never been there, and I feel like a lot of people have, and I do love some sun.
I feel like you're not a true Pittsburgher until you've gone to one of their favorite beach locations, like Ocean City, Rehoboth, Hilton Head, Virginia Beach, Myrtle Beach, the places that you're guaranteed to run into Steelers fans no matter where you go.
Okay, so Myrtle Beach it is. And if you need tips on just how to find a cheap flight at any time of year, what kind of strategies you can use, how to use those search engines, go check out our main feed. We just did a whole episode to help you save money and have fun traveling.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. A reminder, we are off for Juneteenth, but we will be back on Friday morning with a special edition of the show. We'll talk to you soon. Normally, I would say like a California or a Vegas just because they're as far away as possible. But I don't think that's doing me any favors with like the heat situation right now.
Probably not.
So I think I'm going to go like Boston maybe, or like Portland, Maine. If someone's fronting me some money right this moment, I'm probably headed north.